What's up, Thrashers, and welcome back once again to the Thrash Maniac 99 YouTube channel, and I am back with yet another album review, and today I am talking about the latest offering from Swedish death metalers, Imperishable, Swallowing the World. Also came out on April 11th, this time on Hammerheart Records, and this is the band's second studio full-length overall. I actually went over their debut, Come Sweet Death, on an episode of Under the Radar back in 2023, and I thought it was a pretty good album from what I remembered, and here we are with a brand new album. And for those who don't know, yep, this is a Swedish death metal band. Even though they're from Gothenburg, not Stockholm, there's still like a lot of that like old school Swedish death metal charm to them. Granted, no HM2 tone, but musically still kind of fits in that realm of classic Swedish death metal. However, this album, couple big things that are different. Here we actually get Andy LaRocque from King Diamond doing the production on here, and I'll just go ahead and say the production on this album is nice. Absolutely nice. Because the mix is balanced, the recording quality is awesome, it's still gritty, but it's well balanced in the mix. And then also, I would say the other big shift is in some parts musically. And you get that immediately with the track Bells, which opens the album. You get this bass melody, and then a guitar melody comes forth, and then it's, for the most part, a melodic death metal song. Like, the tremolos are very much in that melodeath sense. Also, it's very thrashy. There's even, like, somber moments with the melodies, and it soars a little bit. So it's like, at first I'm thinking, did they switch over to becoming a straight-up melodeath band, considering they are from the mecca of melodic death metal, Gothenburg? But little did I know, this would be one of the only times where it kind of gets in that vein, because then in Blood to Bleed, which kind of a redundant title, but the following track, Blood to Bleed, kind of alternates between Stockholm death metal and Gothenburg melodeath. Like with the tremolos and the gritty riffing, it like alternates here and there, but the riffs do get darker. And then this would start where quite a few songs would have some pretty cool triplet chugs like this, as well as the following track where No One Survives. Awesome triplet chugs, like old school death metal triplet chugs. And speaking of where No One Survives, starts off with creepy ambience, and this is the longest track of the album at 5 minutes 20 seconds. And then you get some nasty, heavy riffs that do not belong in a melodeath album or song. And then, of course, triplet chugs. There's even some little atonal sections. But you still get harmonies and melodies, but it's not the focal point of the song, very much in like a melodeath sense. And then Riding Demons, which was literally 1 second shorter than Where No One Survives. This one's probably the most odd, different song on the album. You get like classic metal riffs and a D-beat gallop, and while you do get like more sinister riffs and like lumbering grooves and clean melodies and bass, it's almost gothic a little bit, kind of like modern Tribulation. And I gotta mention, the vocals on this album remind me of the frontman of Tribulation a little bit, and also Tampa from At the Gates. But yeah, Riding Demons, very much like a not a mishmash, but like a mashup of a bunch of different ideas. Cenotaph of Dreams, just gnarly evil riffs come along, and then you just get these cool tremolo tags, blast beats, which not that many blast beats to be heard on this album, and even a really cool like bass flourish. Out of the Night starts off with harmonies, and then you get into chunky chugging disgust, like just bleh, and lumbering grooves once again before you get into like tremolos and thrashy bits. And I forgot to mention too, when it comes down to leads, there's not many to be found on here. Like in terms of like true blues solos, you get them in Blood to Bleed and Cenotaph of Dreams. Any other time it's either lead melodies or squealy dive bombs. Like Out of the Night, it's a big squealy dive bomb. And then the closer, the title track, it's thrashy, it's energetic. You do get some like melody shifts from atonal to a traditional melody. grooves and chugs, even like a little tapping section on the guitars, and some really cool drums going on here. So yeah, basically this album was still for the most part a death metal album, but with a couple of songs that touch on melodic death metal, and like one song that just kind of felt like a mashup of classic metal, melodeath, and gothic metal somehow. As far as any issues I had, I would say the two interludes, the Remembering and the Erosion of Reason, probably just cut that. Because the album itself, it's only like nearly 36 minutes long, but the two interludes kind of take up a little bit of space. So maybe cut those songs out, just have 7 songs at like 32 some odd minutes. Then I think top to bottom it would flow perfectly. But aside from those two interludes, and then also the odd writing of Riding Demons, nothing really to complain about. Now, do I think this stacks up in comparison to their debut? I would say it's maybe a little bit better than the debut, at least from what I remember about the debut, so I'm going to give this a 4 out of 5 as well. Off to a pretty good start this week with 2 4 out of 5s. So for Imperishable, if you are a fan of, I would say, Entombed, At the Gates, Dismember, maybe even a little bit of Hypocrisy, check this out. This is actually some really damn good stuff. But of course, those are just my opinions. What did you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, all that fun stuff. But until next time, keep your horns high and your dreams wet.